Welcome to ePadasala lecture series in computer science. Last module we were talking about the greedy approach. So, in this particular module I am going to introduce a new design technique called dynamic programming. The learning objectives of this particular module are to explain dynamic programming, one of the most popular design strategy. As part of the dynamic programming approach, I am going to discuss about the Fibonacci series, where I am going to highlight why dynamic programming is superior to the other design paradigms. And I am also going to explain how the binomial coefficient can be obtained using the dynamic programming approach. Fine. What is dynamic programming approach? Dynamic programming is suitable for solving optimization problems like greedy approach. Dynamic programming is also suitable for solving optimization problems. In the earlier module, we discussed about what is an optimization problem. An optimization problem is a problem where we have an objective function and a set of constraints. There may be n number of solutions for that particular problem. Out of that, one solution is more effective with respect to the constraints, and that is what we are calling as the optimal solutions. Dynamic programming is capable of solving these problems effectively compared to greedy approach, and it is more suitable to solve sequential decision problems where a set of decisions needs to be taken. This approach was invented by the Richard Ernest Bellman. He is the father of dynamic programming, and he designed this approach in 1950s to solve optimization problems. Since in computer domain we have lots of problems which are optimization problems, suddenly we have lots of applications of dynamic programming approach in computer science domain. Here programming means planning. It is no way related to the actual coding, but instead it refers to some sort of the planning process involved in solving the problems. Normally it is useful for solving problems like scheduling, string editing, packaging problems like knapsack kind of problems, and inventory management problems. Mostly discrete optimization problems are effectively solved by the dynamic programming approach. Normally dynamic programming approach is considered to be superior than greedy approach. The reason is, in greedy approach normally we go for local optimal decisions, that is the decisions that is good as of now, but on the long term the decision may not be very optimal. In this particular context only, the superiority of the dynamic programming is coming to an focus. Here we are taking decisions on the long term basis. In other words, we are going for the global optimal decisions. Therefore, there is a guarantee that dynamic programming gives more optimal results compared to the greedy approach. What is the idea of the dynamic programming approach? The idea is very simple. We have to establish the recursive property that gives the solution to the given instance of the problem. Like divide and conquer, what we are trying to do is we are taking the problem and we are trying to divide that problem into number of sub problems, and we are trying to establish the recursive property of the original problem with respect to the sub problems. This is the primary step of any particular dynamic programming approach. Once we establish the recursive relation, then we are going to apply the concept of bottom up approach, and we are going to solve the smaller instances first, and then we are proceeding towards gradually towards bigger problems. So, you can see that the idea of dynamic programming is similar to divide and conquer approach. In divide and conquer also, we are going to take a problem and we are going to divide the problem into number of sub problems, and sub problems are divided further into more sub problems, and then the global solution is said to be combining the solutions of all the sub problems. But it is a top down approach, but in dynamic programming we are taking a different route, that is we are going to take the bottom up fashion to solve the given problems. The ingredients of the dynamic programming are like this. Every substructure is optimal. That means, we are calling this as the principle of optimality, and the principle of optimality says that the optimal solution to the problem contain optimal solutions to all the sub problems. This is what we are calling as the principle of optimality. This is one of the most important ingredient of a dynamic programming. What is the implication of this? The implication is like this. Suppose if you take a decision that is an optimal decisions for solving a particular problem, and if we try to decompose that problem into the sub problem, then we can say that the primary optimal solution is applicable for all the associated sub problems. This is what we are calling as the principle of optimality. Second important ingredient is overlapping sub problems. You may ask a question something like this: if the approach is similar to divide and conquer, then what makes dynamic programming different from the divide and conquer strategy? In divide and conquer, whenever the problems are divided into sub problems, we ensure that the problems are independent of each other. In other words, there is no overlapping among the sub problems, but whereas in greedy approach, the primary motivation is that all the sub problems are overlapping problems. This is the second important aspect of dynamic programming. So, the logic is very simple. We are going to solve the problem only once. That means, we are not going to recompute the problem again and again, but instead we are going to solve problem only once, and the efficiency of dynamic programming comes into picture because we are going to reuse the solution rather than computing it again. This process is what we are calling as memoization, which is the corruptive word of memorization. This jargon is very popular in dynamic programming, where we refer this word memoization as the technique of computing the results and storing that result into a table, so that we can find the exact solution to the initial instance from the table itself. That means, by memorizing the solutions of the intermediate problems, the global problem can be easily solved. The third important criteria is bottom up fission. In this aspect, it is different from the divide and conquer strategy. In divide and conquer, always it is top down, while in dynamic programming sometimes we may write algorithm from top down or bottom up, but the most preferable thing is bottom up fission, where we are trying to solve the smaller instance, and from the smaller instance we are trying to go towards gradually to the larger problems. This is going to be the third important rule of dynamic programming. Now, you should be really convinced that dynamic programming is more superior than divide and conquer, where we ensure that the principle of optimality holds good. That means, the solution to a problem is also optimal for all its sub problems, and we ensure that this works fantastically for overlapping sub problems, which is a reality in most of the day to day problems, and by reversing the order of computations, so much efficiency is obtained. In other words, these are the three ingredients that are useful, that distinguishes dynamic programming from all other things. Now, let us try to demonstrate some of the problems where dynamic programming is very effective. The first problem we will take is Fibonacci numbers. Probably you can recollect in the earlier modules we were talking about the Fibonacci numbers. Fibonacci sequence was given by Leonardo of Pisa. So, the number is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, it goes like this, where you can make an important observation that every number is the sum of two previous numbers. For example, if you take the number 5, you can see that it is actually the sum of 2 and 3, and you can say 21 is nothing but the sum of 8 and 13. This is a very famous sequence. In earlier module we were talking about how to write algorithms for generating this sequence. In this module we are going to discuss how the dynamic programming approach is effective for generating this sequence. Fine. What is the recurrence equation? So, recurrence equation already we have seen, this is nothing but every number is the sum of two previous number, therefore, f of I is nothing but f of I minus 1 plus f of I minus 2, with the initial condition that f0 is 0 and f1 is 1. In other words, this is the recurrence equation of the Fibonacci sequence. Fine. How divide and conquer solves this problem? Divide and conquer paradigm solves this problem by using the top down approach, where you can see that we have Fibonacci of n. So, if n is less than or equal to 1, then we are going to return 1, else we are going to return the Fibonacci of n minus 1 and Fibonacci of n minus 2. This approach seems very simple, but in reality this has got a fundamental problem, because you can see that for finding the Fibonacci of 10, which is nothing but the sum of Fibonacci of 9 and 8, and again you can see that the Fibonacci of 8 is nothing but the Fibonacci of 7 and 6, like that it keeps on moving. So, you can see in this tree itself F1 appears here and F7 appears here also. That means, you can see the instance F7 appears in two places. So, that means you can see that this is a overlapping subproblem and there is a lot of redundancy among the subproblems. So, whenever there is a redundancy among the subproblems, the algorithm keeps on recomputing things again and again. Therefore, suddenly the complexity of the algorithm becomes more. This is illustrated in this particular slide, where you can see that when initial condition is less, you see the number of recursive call is less, but as it keeps on increasing, suddenly you see there is a jump in the number of recursive calls. So, you can see the sequence like 3, 5, 9, 15, 25, where you can see that for every value of nk unit tries, the number of recursive calls are becoming more and more. In other words, it is becoming an exponential algorithm. So, the implication of this is the fact that when n becomes very larger, then the algorithm takes lots of time and the algorithm may run for many weeks or even months together. In other words, practically it is very difficult to implement this algorithm for the larger value of n. So, the idea is very simple, change the direction. So, instead of the forward chaining, where you are going from F0 to kind of stuff, what you are trying to do is you try to change your reasoning so that you can optimize this particular problem. In other words, by changing this chaining process, we can achieve the what you say optimality. So, now you can see the tabular computation is very effective. So, what you can do is bottom up approach. So, you compute and store that into the table. In the previous slide, we were talking this as the memoization. So, that means now if I want to compute F4, instead of computing this as the sum of Fibonacci of 3 and Fibonacci of 2, I can simply refer to this particular table and I can simply retrieve the value from this particular table. So, that means I am trying to avoid recomputation, but instead I am going to use reuse, so that the algorithm is very effective. So, the algorithm becomes a simple algorithm like this. So, initially it is f of 0 equal to 0, f of 1 equal to 1. So, I am starting a loop for I equal to 2 to n, where you can see that f of I is nothing but f of I minus 1 and f of I minus 2. The difference between this and your previous divide and conquer algorithm is everything is stored into a table. So, that means you can see that I am simply reusing the table content instead of recomputations. Therefore, suddenly this algorithm, which was exponential in the earlier case, suddenly becomes a practical algorithm for solving this particular problem. In other words, this is going to be a polynomial algorithms. So, you can tune this algorithm by means of the iterative also. In this case, you are trying to optimize the space. So, you can see that I am starting with a loop. So, where I am trying to compute f of n as the sum of f of n minus 1 and n minus 2, and you can see that I am simply reassigning the variables so that even the space is not what you say wasted. So, in short, I can come to a conclusion that this algorithm is far better than the exponential algorithm that is designed by the divide and conquer approach. Second problem is called the polynomial coefficient. This is also one interesting problem which we encounter in many practical situations. We all know the formula for finding the binomial coefficient. It is nck is nothing but n factorial divided by k factorial multiplied by n minus k factorial. So, again we can write algorithm using divide and conquer approach, where we can write factorial and we can call it 3 times by passing the parameter n k and n minus k. But the problem is similar to the Fibonacci problem. You can see that direct implementation of this formula will not work, because even for a small numbers like 49, 6 and 3, you can see that the factorial of 49 that needs to be computed, which is going to be a very large number. In other words, if n and k becomes larger, suddenly the problem becomes very difficult, and it is very difficult to design an polynomial algorithm using the divide and conquer approach. So, what is the solution for this? The solution is very effective. It is nothing but the dynamic programming approach, where we have to define a table so that instead of recomputing again and again, what we can do is we can put it into the table and we can simply refer that. So, the steps of the dynamic programming needs to be applied. The first step is we have to form the recurrence equation. So, the recurrence equation is given like this. So, nck is nothing but you can see it is n minus 1 c k minus 1 plus n minus 1 c k, and its base condition is going to be 1 if k is going to be 0 or k is equal to 1. In other words, we are going to use the recursive relation as shown here. So, this is the dynamic, this is a divide and conquer algorithm approach, where we can straight away put the recurrence equation, easy to look at, but practically it is very difficult as shown on the right hand side. So, in this case only we are going to use the dynamic programming approach. So, what we are going to do is we are going to use a table. So, in this case an array is sufficient. So, now what this array is going to contain is, it is going to contain the solutions of the sub problems. So, the logic is very simple. The problem becomes something like filling up the table, and you apply the bottom up fashion by computing the rows in B starting from your first row. Okay. So, this is what the approach is all about. So, the reference for this problem is Pascal triangle. So, which we have seen in our school mathematics very often. This is a Pascal triangle, where you can see that 1 to 1 is generated by adding this 1 and another 1. So, similarly 1 3 3 1 is generated from the previous thing by adding 1 2 and 2 1. So, in school mathematics you can recollect this is nothing but a plus b whole square, which is nothing but a square plus 2ab plus b square. In this particular manner you can generate the equation for any n. So, this problem is similar to this earlier one, where you can see that the binomial coefficient is also nothing but the Pascal triangle, which can be constructed like this. So, the logic is very simple. You start with a smaller problem like C of 0 comma 0, then from there you try to find your C of 1 comma 0, C of 1 comma 1. Like that you can start generating the next values. So, you may ask a question like this: I want to find the binomial coefficient of 4 comma 5. So, if that is the case, why should I start with 0 comma 0? The answer to this particular question is very simple. In greedy algorithm you will have only one sequence of solution, but whereas in dynamic programming you will have all the sequences of solutions that are possible. So, since all the problems are simultaneously solved, all we have to do is given a problem we have to look up and we have to see the solution for that particular things. So, this kind of advantage is superior because if a similar problem is given, again we do not have to recompute the whole thing. This is a real advantage of the dynamic programming approach. So, suddenly you realize that the whole problem is reduced, where each row depends only on the preceding row. So, that means there is not much recomputation that is involved as part of your divide and conquer approach. In other words, the whole problem is now reduced to something like a Pascal triangle. So, this is what the table will look like. So, you can see that the initialization is 1. So, it keeps on growing. So, whenever a problem is given, all we have to do is we have to search the table and we can get the solutions. This is the formal algorithm. You can see that I am forming a table. So, sometimes I do not have to generate the entire table. So, in that case I can go for minimum of I comma k. So, this is the straightforward implementation of the recurrence equation. So, if this is the case, it is going to be 1, otherwise you can see that this is nothing but the sum of the previous row. So, finally you are going to return this b of n minus k as the solution for this particular formal algorithms. Find what is the time complexity. The beauty of dynamic programming is that the complexity is almost proportional to the table entries. So, in this case you can see that it is dependent on n as well as k. Therefore, the time complexity is going to be theta of n k. Suppose if k is equal to n, at most it can take theta of n square. Therefore, you can come to a conclusion that unlike our divide and conquer approach, this algorithm is not going to be an exponential, but rather this is going to be a polynomial algorithms. The space efficiency is also theta of n k. So, that means it uses less space and it is totally dependent on the values of n and k. In summary, we can come to a conclusion that dynamic programming is similar to divide and conquer in the sense that we find the recursive property, but the real difference is instead of blindly using recursion, what we are trying to do is we are going to apply the bottom up fashion, so that iteratively we solve from the smaller problems and storing that into the table and ensuring that we solve each instance only once. So, by using this particular technique, most of the exponential problems can be converted to the polynomial problems. Thank you very much. So, next module we will take more practical examples and then we will talk about how to apply dynamic programming approach.